Okay. V'ata Tetzaveh, we're middle of Eis Vav. The Maamar Melukutas on page Kuf Lamed Gimmel. Okay. Now the Rebbe is explaining that the primary level of Ma'or, when is the essence of the Jew revealed? When it's Kosis in the time of Golus. So he says that Yidden, the Amunah that caused Yidden to be Meisa Nefesh, this that they see Elokus, that level of Amunah is not them, it's something additional, it's a reason because they see Elokus. But the essence, the level of Amunah that comes, like he says, because that's the Jew, not because they see Elokus, that's what it is, so that's the real level of Kosis. Okay? Okay, let's start again from Al-Pizah. We learned a few lines into it. Okay, Al-Pizah, Yesh Levaya, Bet Mashakosa, by my basis, we can explain what the Friedrich Rebbe writes in the Maamar. There's that, Shemei Shurai Mehemna. This, the Moshe Rabbeinu, is the shepherd of faith. Shuzon and Mefanis Amunah is not only Moshe Rabbeinu, but Menegel Rei Yisol Shebachol Dor is relevant to the leaders of every generation. It's Pashus, the Moshe Bachol Dor. What is their role of a Rebbe to strengthen the Amun of the Jews? That they should have Mesiras Nefesh for the observance of Torah mitzvahs. This the Moshe Rabbeinu feeds Amunah. In this Maamar itself is Aidei Shemashpil Yisrael Das Balukus. How does Moshe Rabbeinu internalize the Amunah? Because he's Mamshech, he brings down the level of Das, which is feeling Elokus. That causes the Amunah to become internalized. Because once you feel it, then it's you. You know, when you feel something versus knowing it, it's a whole different story. And this, that's Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu brought down Das, and that caused them Amunah. This, that the Rebbes in every generation, Shamunah Yisod be away from Mesiras Nefesh, shall be, and now should, and by them, Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't demanding the level of Mesiras Nefesh. Moshe Rabbeinu gave Das to the Yidden. But this level that the Rebbe throughout the generations called the level of Mesiras Nefesh. The primary level of a Rebbe, what is the primary? Not because he's Mamshech Das. The primary level of a Rebbe is to feed that Amunah, which is their essence. Not even to. In other words, this the Moshe Rabbeinu brings Das, that causes Amunah. That's still a cause. Shamuna tiyalei rakmesh mitzad mitzad galuyim. The Amunah shouldn't be from revelations. Mitzad zeh shaneshama lemaylo re'elukus. It shouldn't come because the neshama sees elukus. Again, that's a reason. That is not the essence. Is an offshoot. The Rebbe is explaining this. The primary level purpose of a Rebbe is to internalize the Amunah, not the first level of Amunah because the neshama sees Elokus. Because the neshama is Elokus, and that level, a Rebbe is mamshech into everybody else. Okay, now, the amshachas for Amunah bepnimis, bedas, how do you internalize Amunah in the level of das, feeling it? So what does the Rebbe do? A Rebbe shows you and internalizes this level, the connection that the neshama is Hashem. It is Elokus. It's an essential bond that the Chelek Alakam Mimal Mamish. It's Mamish, a part of Hashem. And therefore, what does the Rebbe do? A Rebbe reveals that level to the Jew. Based on this, we could say as follows. Those generations that needed actual Mesiras Nefesh, like in the previous Rebbe's time, in Stalin Russia, where they were killing Jews for doing Yiddishkeit. What do they accomplish? Like we said, a Rebbe gives every generation what they need. If a generation in 1927, the Kibbutz Yudim, he said, put him cut in Tafresh Pei Zayin, that year when he was arrested with the death sentence of, Yubei Tammuz. What is the role of a Rebbe? To reveal, if they need Mesiras Nefesh, so he brings down the essence of the Neshama, he revealed within the Jew, that they should be able to have Mesiras Nefesh. So he says, in this aspect of a Rebbe, is more than Moshe Rabbeinu. And he's going to explain this in a second. He says like this, Ki am shachas v'gilei ha'amuna, because this revelation of Amunah, that comes from the essence of the Neshama, which is through Moshe Rabbeinu, Ikir is Galusa, the primary revelation of this level of Mesiras Nefesh, is when it comes Mesiras Nefesh b'poil. Meaning like this, the role of a Rebbe is to reveal the essence of the neshama of the Jew.
To the Jew.
Huh?
To the Jew.
To the Jew. In the Jew. In the Jew. That the Jew. Not to the Jew. In the Jew. The Jew has it. Yeah. So he says, where is the essence of the Jew primarily revealed? When it's kosis. When there's actual Mesiras Nefesh. So therefore, the Rebbe is saying that the generations that need Mesiras Nefesh, actual Mesiras Nefesh, which is the ultimate revelation of the essence of the neshama, the emunah, because it is, not because it sees, it is. So that level of a Rebbe is more revealed by those people than it is by Moshe Rabbeinu. Because by Moshe Rabbeinu, there was no actual Mesiras Nefesh. In the Midbar, there was no Mesiras Nefesh for the Jews. There was no somebody persecuting them. They got whatever they wanted. They got. There was no Mesiras Nefesh. Yes, but a Rebbe is above all of that stuff. Therefore, he could bring it down. Now, there's this that my mother must explain. This that Moshe Rabbeinu brings down das, because Moshe Rabbeinu is higher than Minamayim Ishisiu. He comes from Alma Destimen. He comes in the hidden world, which is higher than das. Therefore, he can bring down das into the Yid. But the primary level of Emunah revelation is when it comes into actual Mesiras Nefesh. You say, Kosis Mar. No Kosis, no Mar.
That which comes from Moshe Rabbeinu is cause and effect, but from Chatik not?
But no. This that comes from Moshe Rabbeinu, it's not cause and effect. Moshe Rabbeinu reveals the essence of the neshama in the Jew. I said, reveals the essence of the neshama in the Jew. That level is primarily revealed when it causes to have actual Mesiras Nefesh.
What about Aaron?
Those generations that didn't need actual Mesiras Nefesh, yes, Moshe Rabbeinu was Mamshech Das, yes, Moshe Rabbeinu was Mamshech the Emunah and the Pnimius, but it doesn't come to the level of the essence that causes actual Mesiras Nefesh.
What about Aaron?
He's a very nice guy, but we're not talking about Aaron. We're talking about Moshe.
How does he reveal the essence of the Jew as well?
We're talking about Moshe, not Aaron.
Okay.
Aaron, who said Aaron does that?
No, when he lights the candle.
He doesn't reveal the essence of the Jew. Moshe Rabbeinu does that.
What is the Mesiras Nefesh as the time of complacency?
The Rebbe explains later that Mesiras Nefesh is a higher level of Mesiras Nefesh than Mesiras Nefesh of torture. That's the Chiddush of this Maamar. I mean, million Chidushim of the Maamar. But the whole word the Rebbe is explaining, the Rebbe is going systematically, right? What is a Moshe Rabbeinu that feeds Emunah? There's two levels of it. There's because Neshama sees Elokus. The ultimate Raya Mehemna is he feeds Emunah because it is Hashem. Right? Not because it sees Elokus. That's an outside reason. This because it is Elokus. That level is primarily revealed when there's Mesiras Nefesh. Because in order for a person to give up his life for Hashem, which is completely irrational, illogical, especially when Torah tells us, "V'chai b'hem," you're supposed to live, not die. So the ultimate level of Gilui, of the essence of the Neshama, is revealed when there is Mesiras Nefesh. So therefore, the Rebbe explains, it comes out that those Rebbes that had to, Moshe Rabbeinos, that had to reveal the level of Mesiras Nefesh, are revealing in this aspect, a level even greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. So he says, "V'hinei Yodua in Zion, v'hinei Yodua, it's known, Mesiras Nefesh b'pe'al Torah mitzvah shekol Yisrael." When was there Mesiras Nefesh? For the entire Jewish nation. There was only one time historically there was Mesiras Nefesh of every single Jew. Was Bizman Gzeirah Haman. Purim, in the time of Haman. Because Achashverosh ruled the world, 127 countries. There was a decree in every one of the 127 countries to annihilate the Jews. Get rid of them. Mesiras the Nefesh, the Mesiras Nefesh of Chanukah in the time of the Greeks was primarily Matas Yobanov. They were the ones that had Mesiras Nefesh. But Mesiras Nefesh, Bizman Gzeirah the Haman, that was B'chol Yisrael. That was to every single Jew had to stand Mesiras Nefesh.
No, so I don't see the Mesiras Nefesh at the time. I mean, 1 year they stood by Mordechai. 1 year, the whole, but in Mitzrayim it was 200.
They had no, what Mesiras Nefesh did they have in Mitzrayim?
The real Chatzit was in Mitzrayim.
No. What they did, the Jews didn't keep. The only one that did Bris Milah was Shevet Levi. What type of Mesiras Nefesh did they have? What did their Mesiras Nefesh in Mitzrayim accomplish? That they complained.
They remained Jews. Under pressure.
But they still didn't do what they needed to do. That's number one. Number two is before Matan Torah, so the whole concept of Mesiras Nefesh didn't exist.
Because they didn't have anything to do.
Nobody's blaming them. But it was before Matan Torah.
Because they didn't actually keep the mitzvahs.
He didn't do it. Mesiras Nefesh is to stand up to keep Torah mitzvahs. There was no Torah mitzvahs for them to keep, and even what they were supposed to do, they didn't do. 4/5 of the Jewish people died in Mitzrayim. You know what that means? 80% of the Jewish people died in Egypt. Yeah, they were beaten. That doesn't mean they had Mesiras Nefesh for it. Now we based on this we can explain. Mashamuv about Maamar, what the Friedrich Rebbe brings down in the Maamar from the Medrash. That the Medrash says, Mordechai Yishakol b'Deira Kamesha b'Deira. It says in the Medrash, Mordechai was like Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Rebbe asks, Hagam dis Pashtusa de Moshe b'Chol Dor. L'chayr is a Moshe Rabbeinu in every generation. So why does it say punkt like Mordechai is Shakol Kamesha? I mean, every generation has a Moshe Rabbeinu. He said, Mikal Mokam Isa b'Medrash. Shemordechai Dafka Yishakol b'Deira Kamesha b'Deira. Why episode Mordechai? Why is there a uniqueness about Mordechai? So be a shleimah Shamaylis the Mordechai Yehudi, because the uniqueness of Mordechai Yehudi is Shurayim Am the Begilu Shokol Yisrael Shebedeire. Mordechai HaTzadik was the Moshe Rabbeinu of every single Jew, openly. Every Jew at that time knew Mordechai was a Moshe Rabbeinu of his generation. Just like the Moshe Rabbeinu's time. Yeah, there was Aaron, there were the Nesiim, there were great guys. But there was one Moshe Rabbeinu, right? And everybody knew Moshe Rabbeinu was the Rebbe. Him Shechdas Choisav Shabbadirei Kamuvim Gamizeh. So as it's also understood from the fact that Deireh Shal Mesha, the generation Mesha was Dor Deyam. The Medrash says they were a Dor of Das. Where did they get the Das from? Moshe Rabbeinu brought down Das into the Bnei Yisrael. Ela Shemesha Haya Begilu Inzer, which is through being down Das L'chol Anshe Deireh. And Mordechai, the Gilui was Koyach HaMesiras Nefesh Sheb'chol Anshe Deireh. The difference is Moshe Rabbeinu revealed Das. Mordechai revealed Mesiras Nefesh. That's a much deeper level. But the connection between Mordechai and Moshe Rabbeinu is they were openly the Rebbes of everybody in their generation.
Yeah. There is one Moshe, so every generation, that Moshe has to reveal something.
But he's saying that everybody accepts him as the Moshe Rabbeinu.
They knew Mordechai was Moshe.
Yeah. Mordechai was the undisputed leader.
No, the leader, but would they...
And everybody accepted him. That's why they all stood Mesiras Nefesh with Mordechai. And now the Rebbe says like this. The idea shemevi ba'maymer. This that the Friedrich Rebbe brings down in the Maimer. That Mordechai b'dayah shakol k'meshe b'dayah, like he was unanimously the leader of the whole generation. Idea b'zeh pasuk bala Maimer adin al atzmi. Through this, that the Friedrich Rebbe brings it down, he paskins on himself that he is the Raya Mehem, the Begilui of the whole Dor. The fact that the Friedrich Rebbe brings down in the Maimer, that Moshe and Mordechai were the Rebbes of the whole generation, he basically paskins on himself, even though, like he said, the Rebbe writes in the comment, even though he didn't necessarily know what he was saying, but the bottom line is, whether you know about it or not, you make a ruling on yourself. The Friedrich Rebbe made a ruling on himself that he is the Moshe Rabbeinu of the whole generation. Which, by the way, take it means the Rebbe is saying that he is the Rebbe of the entire generation. Like he brings down in the Hara 40, he says, like the Mishnah says, Din v'cheshbon, first Din and then Cheshbon. Based midai to shlom midai, we learned that in Pirkei Avos, that the Jew makes a ruling on himself for somebody else, but he's really in essence ruling on himself. Okay. So he says now, Valpizeh yesh levayir seder inyanim sheb'maimer. Now based on this, we can explain the sequence of the Maimer. Okay, so bottom line is, Moshe Rabbeinu, in his generation, the Rebbes in every generation, and those generations that need Mesiras Nefesh, they're mamshich a deeper level of the neshama than Moshe Rabbeinu was in his time. And that level is because it can't be any other way. Not because reasons, it can't be any other way. So he says, in the pasuk va'ata Tetzaveh. In the pasuk of Ata Tetzaveh, now the Rebbe is explaining the pasuk as follows. First, the pasuk says, Moshe Rabbeinu binds, remember, Tetzaveh not commands, binds the Yidden. Shamesha Mekasher V'chabes B'nei Yisrael, the Moshe Rabbeinu binds and connects the Yidden with himself. How does he do that? By Zon U'Mefanis S'Amunah. How does Moshe Rabbeinu connect the Jews to Hashem? Whether the Jew likes it or not, the Jew is connected to Hashem. What makes Moshe Rabbeinu bind the Yidden to Hashem? That he reveals this level of Amunah that the Jew feels it. The Jews anyway bound to Hashem. What does Moshe Rabbeinu do? He binds the Jews to Hashem openly that they feel it. They feel this level of Amunah. And then he explains... He
takes
their doubt away. It does more than that. Taking the doubts away is an intellectual way of doing it. What Moshe Rabbeinu does is, by revealing that essence, there are no doubts. It's not the pshat he takes them away. That level of the neshama, like the Rebbe explains about Yom Kippur. I mean, the Rebbe explains, but the Rebbe explains it more down to earth language. On the level of Yom Kippur, Itzum Shayim Mechaper, because on that day the Yechida Shebenefesh of the Jew is revealed. So on Yom Kippur, it's not the Pshat. Chassidus explains, that doesn't mean, you can take a simple from Jew, Yom Kippur, we got forgiveness. The day of Yom Kippur accomplishes that the bond between the Jew and Hashem is, there are no Avedas. Not that there's an Aveda that needs to be forgiven. There are no Avedas. You can come over to a guy and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I did something wrong to you, and I'm asking forgiveness. Right? That means there's something wrong, and the guy will forgive. Another way of doing it, you never did anything bad to me. Where do you see this? By Yosef and the brothers. Atam chashavtam alayra. You guys thought, they came to Yosef asking forgiveness. Right? At the end, in Parshat Vayechi. So what do they say to Yosef? We're sorry for what we did, and please. So Yosef said to them, you're missing the point. You never did anything wrong to me. Because Elokim chashav l'teva, what you did was good. It's not the pshat you did bad and you have to ask me forgiveness. There's never bad. That's the day of Yom Kippur. The day of Yom Kippur means there are no sins, period. Cannot exist. What does Moshe Rabbeinu do? Moshe Rabbeinu, by revealing the essence of the neshama, it doesn't say, okay, there's doubts and the doubts are removed. This level of the essence of the neshama, the bond is so essential, essence to essence, there are no doubts. There is nothing but elokus.
The Jew must stay proactive. Ultimately, it's the Jew that must turn the light on.
Yeah. Because Moshe Rabbeinu could do whatever he does, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Especially in Chassidus Chabad, where the Rebbes don't do it for you. We learned there's what's called Chabad Chassidim, and there's Chagas, Mides, Chesed Gvurtefes. I'm talking about not today's Yukos. I'm talking about years ago in the Alter Rebbe's times, where there were holy tzaddikim. Holy tzaddikim. And so then there's a pasuk that says, Tzaddik b'manasa yichya. So simply means a tzaddik lives with his amunah. But there's a Polish way of reading the pasuk, tzaddik, b'manasa, when you have amunah in the tzaddik, Yechayeh, he will give you life. So by Chagat Chassidim, I'm talking about great tzaddikim and great Chassidim, not Chabad, but okay. By them, the policy was, as you know, they used to give out shirayim. They used to throw out food to them, and they would say, "Here is Ava, here is Yira." In other words, what it means is, those tzaddikim, by being connected to the tzaddik gave you Ava and he gave you Yira. In other words, he did it for you. You just have to be connected. Once you are connected, he did it for you. Yeah? In Chabad, the Rebbe said that doesn't work like that. The Rebbe doesn't do it for you. The Rebbe gives you everything except the light switch. You know what I mean? It's all ready to go. You have to flick the switch. And the tzaddik is not going to do that for you. Because in Chabad it has to be Aveda B'Kerech Hatzmei. It has to be your own Aveda. Because if it's a gift, it's called Nama D'Chsufa, shamed. The Zohar calls gifts. Nama D'Chsufa means shamed bread. You didn't work for it. Chabad demands, in fact, somebody once came to Rebbe Marash and wanted to get Shirayim. But Chabad, we don't do that. So the Rebbe Marash said to him, by your Rebbe's, taking Shirayim is mizakeh. It gives you a schus. My Shirayim are mechayiv. They obligate you. You ain't getting no schus from me. All it does is going to obligate you to do more. And that level is by, there's an expression, Chassidim, the Rebbe's bring it down. By the Alter Rebbe's gewalget nisim unter den Tisch, und keiner sich nicht gewollt einbringen zu sie aufnehmen. By the Alter Rebbe's time, there were miracles rolling under the table. That means there were miracles flying all over the place. And nobody bothered to bend down to pick them up. Because that's not the Aved of Chabad. The Aved of Chabad is not to do miracles. That's a gift from above. The Aved is Aved of B'kerach Hatzmi. It has Chassidim said, the Rebbe bring this down. To do a miracle, you have to be one tefach, one handbreadth higher than the world. You're one tefach, you'll be a little bit higher than the world. You can do miracles already because you're above nature. Chabad Chassidus is Alef Chochma, Alef Chabina, 2,000 Amis. Okay, it's not a tefach. To do miracles, no big deal. You're a little bit higher than the world, you can do miracles. So by Chassidim of the Alter Rebbe, when miracles didn't do anything. If a miracle was needed, the Rebbe would do a miracle.
Man, it's such a gilu, such that comes from such a
High level.
it should change a stone, it should bring any Jew close to Yiddishkeit. It should, it's such a high level.
Doesn't permeate.
It should permeate.
It should.
It should permeate.
So why doesn't it? Let's not speak of other people. Let's speak about ourselves. Why doesn't it? You know why? No, because we don't want it to. If we would want it to, it would happen. If we would want it, you'll guide the mitzvah.
That's what the Rebbe on his first speech said. I'm not going to do it for you. You have to do it.
In the first Maamar, that's what the Rebbe said. What?
You should even go over the paragraph wanting. It's such a gilu.
But then there's Namad Chsuf, then the same bread. The Jews didn't accomplish it on their own. Let me ask you a question. But a very practical question for those that have little kids at home. Yeah? You have to fight with them every night to do their homework, right? Okay. Don't you think it would be much easier for the parent just to do the homework? In 2 minutes, you're done, and you don't have to fight with anybody, and the kids are happy, and you're happy.
So parents do.
I know. No, they're not parents. They're stupid people. Why shouldn't the parent? It's much easier. Why shouldn't the parent do it? Why not? You're making life easier for everybody. The parents are easier. Everybody's happier. Because then the kid grows up stupid. Okay? The avodah has to come. You can help the kid. You can guide the kids. You can do whatever you want. That's what parents are supposed to do. But the bottom line is, you don't do it for them. They have to do it.
Thank you, Rabbi.